For those of us who love to prep meals in jars and have been spoiled with the delicious sauce mixes from Thrivalist through the years, these copycat recipes are going to be lifesavers since we can no longer buy those. In my kitchen, it's become crucial to have a solid one-to-one substitute for those sauce powders, especially if you're a fan of the recipes from my channel and in my cookbooks. Today's video is a compilation of copycat recipes for all 5 of those Thrivalist sauce mixes, which includes their tomato sauce, which is like a marinara, the cheese sauce, which reminds me so much of the powder that comes in those packets and the mac and cheese boxes, the Espagnole sauce or the beef gravy, the Bechamel or creamy white sauce, and the Velouté sauce or the rich chicken gravy. I've even got a bonus sauce mix in here for a cheesy Alfredo sauce. It is so good, y'all. I think most of you will be using these sauce mixes as ingredients in your meals in jars and not necessarily making the sauces on their own. But I'll show you how to prep the mixes, how to store them, and how to cook just a serving or 2 at a time. I'll even give you some ideas of recipes you can use them in. Whether you like to make your own mixes because of cleaner ingredients or improved flavor, or just for the convenience of having them on your shelf, I hope you find these recipes helpful and, of course, delicious. Welcome to the Freeze Dried Foodie, where you'll find delicious recipes using freeze-dried ingredients. Now, it doesn't really matter what brand you have. So many of us have this type of food on our shelves. On this channel, I'll show you how I cook with mine. All right, first up, I've got my tomato sauce, my marinara, and I will link to the original video where you can find the full recipe. I've been working this week on this recipe, and the one I'm going to show you today is probably the 4th version, and it's a really good one, y'all. It's really close to the Thrivalist tomato sauce. It's been a little bit tricky, and I'll tell you why, but I'm really pleased with this one that I'm going to show you today. I'm also going to be baking a loaf of bread for my daughter Ashley. I just wanted to show you that. And I'm also using that same recipe. It's my artisan bread recipe. I use it for the pizza crust, and I'll put the tomato sauce on the pizza crust. So this is how I came up with the recipe. I just looked at the Thrivalist tomato sauce can and read the ingredients and tried to imitate it as close as possible. These are the ingredients I ended up with. I'll include the full recipe in the description box below the video. The recipe for that loaf and for the pizza dough is in my second cookbook. It's on page 58, so that's what that looks like right there. My tomato sauce recipe is perfect on this pizza, and it's also perfect in any recipe of mine that calls for the Thrivalist tomato sauce, and it's a 1-to-1 substitution. When you're ready to make this mix, just get out a bowl, and you'll start with, of course, tomato powder. So the only ingredient in that is tomatoes. So they have been freeze-dried and then blended into a powder. I'm going to include some instant milk powder and some heavy cream powder in my recipe. And I really like the creaminess that both of those bring. But to be honest, I think I'm putting more of those in my sauce than what Thrive probably did, but it's difficult to achieve the same consistency and flavor. There's some other things involved too, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But anyway, this right here is carrot powder. So carrot powder is an ingredient on the back of the can. I ordered that off of Amazon. It was probably $7 or something like that. You could take our dehydrated carrots and blend them and put them in there. But okay, I did that and I found it to be bitter. And once I replaced it with a different carrot powder, it was much better. I also am adding some cornstarch to thicken it up. You could probably use arrowroot starch if you prefer that. And then add as much Italian seasoning as you like, or you could do like the freeze-dried basil, freeze-dried oregano, that kind of thing. I used the Lighthouse brand of Italian seasonings. I'm also adding some onion powder, some garlic powder. This is kosher salt, and they do put sugar in there. In fact, it's one of the first ingredients, so there's quite a bit of sugar in their sauce. And I ended up with 2.5 tablespoons. You can add as much or as little as you like. The citric acid, it's on their ingredient list. I had some and I put it in there, but I'm going to say it's optional. It does add a bit of a tang, a kind of a brightness to the recipe. And it says on the package that it helps to preserve shelf-stable things. So I put it in there, but some people, they don't really like citric acid. And I understand it's produced through some fermentation. But anyway, don't feel like you have to put it in there if you don't have it. I just happen to have it. All right, stir that up really well. And now I'm going to show you a side-by-side comparison. So here's the Thrive Life tomato sauce can. We all love this. Everybody who has this product probably loves it. I use it in so many of my recipes, and it's just been like heartbreaking. Thrive Life has shut their doors and you can't get this anymore. So my recipes that call for this, I had to come up with a copycat, y'all. So here we are. As you can tell, they look pretty similar. The powders do side by side, but there is a difference. And let me tell you about that. Thrive Life's tomato sauce is not a component sauce, meaning it's not just tomato powder and then carrot powder thrown in there and then spices thrown in there. They actually cooked their sauce. They put it in these giant pots. It's a cooked sauce. They took the cooked sauce, spread it out on the trays, froze it, and then freeze dried it. So the advantage there is you can just add water to it, mix it up, and it's already been cooked. Mine, these are raw ingredients. Those are raw tomatoes, raw carrots, etc. So in order to get the same consistency and texture as the Thrive Life tomato sauce, which is a cooked sauce, it's been reconstituted right there. All right, in order for mine to be kind of equivalent to that, you're going to have to cook it for just a little bit. Now, you're not going to have to cook it separately and in advance if you're putting it into something that is going to be cooked, like a soup or, a casserole or a ziti or spaghetti or something like that. But if you're going to serve it on the side, like a marinara, then you will need to cook this in advance. Not for long, just like 3 to 5 minutes. And I'll show you that. They look pretty different at this point, but after I cook them, they look very similar and the consistency is very similar. So I'm going to put that into a little saucepan on the stove. I'm going to bring it to a boil and then turn that heat down to a medium low and just let it simmer for somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes. And that's going to cook the cornstarch. It'll cook that the veggie powder. Those spices are going to wake up and the flavors are just going to meld and get better all together. Give it a taste, adjust your seasonings if you need to. I didn't adjust mine at all. I thought it was great. But I'm going to pour that into a bowl and then y'all can see these side by side and you can see the textures, the consistency, and hopefully you'll see how close they really are. If you're going to put this in one of my recipes that's going to get cooked, like a soup or casserole or something, you don't have to cook it first. Just throw it in with the recipe. Okay. So that right there on the right, there's the Thrive Life tomato sauce. And then on the left, this is my version of the tomato sauce. See, the consistencies are very similar. It turned out really well. If you taste them side by side, like one right after the other, you'll notice they don't taste exactly the same because I am not Chef Todd. If you know who Chef Todd is. Yeah, I'm not a chef, but I think that this turned out really good. All of my experimentation paid off. It is really close to the Thrive Life sauce mix, and you can use it as a 1-to-1 substitution for any of my recipes that call for that sauce mix. And if you're going to put it in something that's going to be cooked like a casserole or a soup, don't worry about cooking it in advance. If you want to use it on top of spaghetti or like this recipe I'm showing you here, like on a pizza, go ahead and cook it first. Here's my pizza with my homemade tomato sauce. It's nice and tomatoey. It's a little bit sweet. It's kind of creamy with that heavy cream powder in there and everything. And it's just a wonderful recipe. I'm going to suggest that if you can, store it in the freezer. You can store it on your pantry shelf, But because that tomato powder is in there, it might tend to clump on you. And if you want it to, just for sure not clump on you, if you store it in the freezer, it'll stay nice and powdery. So that's just a suggestion. You don't have to. If you do include that heavy cream powder, make sure you check your expiration date on that heavy cream powder. That is probably what's going to go bad first out of all those ingredients. So check your expiration date. I got mine. It's that Anthony's brand heavy cream powder, and I have it linked below in one of my Amazon links. Make sure you check that expiration date, use it before that date, or put it in the freezer. Store it in the freezer, and it should be fine for a long, long, long time. Up next is my cheese sauce mix. This one's a perfect copycat substitution for the Thrive Life mix. When I was coming up with this recipe, there were several things that were pretty important to me as I developed it. One of those things was that I wanted it to be a true one-to-one substitution for Thrive Life's, because I think a lot of people who are going to be making this recipe are people who own my cookbooks. And I've got several recipes in those cookbooks that call for the cheese sauce as an ingredient. So I wanted to make sure, since now Thrive Life has gone out of business, I wanted to make sure you're able to substitute something that is similar, and that way you can keep cooking my recipes. Also, I was trying to get a very similar taste and texture. I also wanted a similar ingredient list. It's not going to be exactly the same, of course, but I wanted something similar to it. Thrive Life didn't use artificial dyes. I didn't want to use those in mine either. Now, please keep in mind as you make this and put this together that Thrive Life's cheese sauce was not a component sauce. Chef Todd developed that recipe. They would cook it in big batches and then spread it out, freeze it, and freeze dry it. My recipe is going to be a component sauce, meaning it's made up of several components, and then you're going to have to cook it yourself. So just the nature of that makes it a little bit different in texture. Now, what I ended up doing was deciding I'm going to make this kind of like a Mornay sauce. A Mornay sauce is a cream sauce, basically a white sauce that has cheese added to it. So as you see these ingredients that are going to go into this cheese sauce, you're going to recognize them as the ones that are going into my bechamel sauce. So that's basically what I did. My cheese sauce is basically like a bechamel sauce base with cheese added to it. Now the cheese, it's very important what kind of cheese you add if you're going to make this. Not all cheese powders are created equal, y'all. I spent a significant amount of time on Amazon reading ingredient labels, and I was appalled at some of them. So I'm going to just say this. If you want a good quality cheddar cheese powder to add to this cheese sauce mix that I'm showing you here, Judy's is a great option for you. They don't use artificial colors. They're not using yellow number 5 or yellow number 6. They use annatto extract, which is a seed from a tree. So it's a lot more natural than some other ones. Annatto extract is used often in Latin American and Caribbean cooking. So it's way better than yellow number 5 and yellow number 6. This ingredient that you see me adding right here is something that Thrive Life does not have in their cheese sauce. Those are nutritional yeast flakes. I put them in my spice grinder and made them into a fine powder. I love them. Not only are they healthy, but they taste very much like Parmesan. They have a nutty, salty bite. In fact, they use those nutritional yeast flakes in vegan cheese sauces. Now, I don't care so much about that, but I do care about the flavor, and it's a wonderful flavor. To those powders, I'm adding some seasonings. I think just adding a little bit of chicken bouillon is really good in here. Some dry mustard, that tang is really nice. Just a little bit of sugar to balance out all the savory with a bit of sweet, and then just some salt. That's it. I'll just go ahead and whisk this and make sure everything is really nice and combined, and then I can load it up into the jar. This will all fit into a pint jar. I'm going to call 1/4 cup a serving, so you should get 8 servings out of this recipe. Of course, you could double this recipe if you want a quart, or you could cut it in half if you don't need that much. But this is what you can use as a substitute in my recipes from my cookbook as a 1-to-1 substitution for the Thrivalist cheese sauce powder. I wanted to show you what the sauce mixes look like side by side, and to me they look very, very similar. The texture is similar, the smell is similar. Theirs is in the green bowl, mine is in the blue bowl. I think theirs is just a little bit more mild in flavor compared to mine. If you own my cookbooks that I'm showing you here on the screen, you'll know that in several of my recipes I call for the cheese sauce mix. My chicken spaghetti and my chicken tortilla soup and one of my breakfast bakes, my Christmas morning breakfast bake. So hopefully this is helpful to you to be able to continue to cook my recipes from my cookbooks. I will link to those cookbooks below. You can buy the paperback version on Amazon and the digital version on my website, which is thefreezedriedfoodie.com. And even though you're probably not going to just make up a batch of the sauce mix on its own, I thought I would show you that this is what it would cook up like in case you wanted to do that. I've got 1/4 cup of mix, and then I'm adding it to 1/2 cup of water because the ratio of water to mix is 2-to-1. So 2 parts water to 1 part mix. And then all you have to do is whisk it, heat it up, bring it to a simmer, and then let it go for probably 3 to 5 minutes. Let it bubble away. You want the cheese to melt really nicely. You want to wake up those seasonings. You want all those ingredients to make friends and to melt, and that's all there is to it. It is done very quickly. You could put it on pasta. You could put it on broccoli or, vegetables, use it as a cheese dip. But I think most of you, what you're going to probably do here is you're going to use it as an ingredient and put it into something else. Here they are side by side so you can compare. Thrive's is in the green bowl, mine is in the blue, and it's very similar in color, it's very similar in texture. Now, to be fair, Thrivalist's cheese sauce mix calls for you to, whenever you prepare it, you're supposed to add milk and add butter. Well, mine is just milk powder and butter powder, so that's what I used in the Thrive one as well. But still, they both still turned out really, really similar. So I wanted to show you, if you make this, you can put this on pasta, of course. It mixes really nicely on any kind of pasta. You could also, like I said, use it as a cheese dip. If you wanted a cheese sauce to put on top of some vegetables, it works like that. I already have a couple of cheese sauce recipes on my channel, and that's really not what this recipe was about for me. This recipe was about making the mix to be able to add to other recipes. Next, I have my Espagnole sauce mix, and y'all, this is so delicious. It's this rich beef flavored gravy, and I've included the mirepoix in here, which just gives it great depth of flavor. Every time I use this, I feel fancy. It's so, so good. We're going to start by putting the ingredients into a blender because you want all of these wonderful flavors that includes the mirepoix, which is the onions, the celery, and the carrots. You want all of those powdered. This is a sauce, right? You don't want chunks of vegetables. What they do in a traditional Espagnole sauce is they'll just chop up the vegetables and cook the sauce, and then they'll use an immersion blender. But we, since these are freeze-dried, we get to just powder them up beforehand. So yeah, that's how we're going to achieve that really smooth texture. Here I'm showing you the beef bouillon. You're going to use either cornstarch or potato starch. Either one will work for the thickener. And then I'm using some heavy cream powder, but you could use the instant milk if you don't have that. It'll have a little bit different consistency and flavor, but it would work. And you want these ingredients to be a very fine powder. So use a blender here and get them really, really smooth. So that is what the mix looks like. You can store this in some sort of a jar. I'm using a desiccant packet here because I live in a very humid environment, but you could use an oxygen absorber if you like. And this is what you would store on your pantry shelf. And you can easily double this or triple it if you really like it. But I suggest you try it first and see if you like it. So here are the two sauce mixes next to each other. They're very comparable. That is the Thrivalist sauce. And here is my homemade version of it. Now, I don't have access to their recipes. All I can do is look at the back of the label and see what they put in their sauce. So this is my take on a copycat version of Thrivalist's Espagnole sauce. So let's make some up so you can see what it cooks up like. It's basically a beef gravy, but it's got those fantastic vegetables in there. So the flavors are really complex and it's really a good sauce. You can make other sauces with this, like a mushroom sauce or an onion gravy. You could make a demi-glaze out of this Espagnole sauce. Espagnole is one of those mother sauces. They call them a mother sauce. It's one of the 5 French mother sauces. So you can make virtually any sauce out of one of those 5 sauces. Here we have the beef gravy. I already have up on my channel a recipe for a bechamel, a copycat bechamel sauce. I have a video for that, and I also have, in my Thanksgiving video, I did a copycat of a chicken gravy, which is like the velouté sauce. So this is really the 3rd recipe I'm putting up on my channel today of copycat Thrivalist sauces. And see, it's just a really nice beef gravy. I cooked up some of the Thrive mashed potatoes so you could see what it looked like. This video is one of my older videos, and back then I just didn't think to show you how to use it in a different recipe. So let me just tell you, if you make this Espagnole sauce mix and keep it on your shelf, then you can use it in lots of my other recipes. For instance, I use it in my beef stew, I use it in my cottage pie or shepherd's pie, I use it in beef stroganoff, meatloaf, Salisbury steak, meatballs, all sorts of different recipes that are in my cookbooks and up on my channel. So this is a very useful mix to have on hand. These next 2 sauces are super creamy and delicious. I used the bechamel sauce in making the Alfredo sauce, so I'll show you how to make both of these fantastic sauce mixes. First, I'm going to show y'all how I make my Alfredo sauce. Now this recipe is in my 2nd cookbook. It's fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. It's a meal in a jar. But I know how much y'all like my sauce mix recipes, so I thought I would do a video with just the sauce mix. So what I'll do is I'll put a list up on the screen here of the ingredients that you'll need to make the Alfredo sauce. And if you'll notice, it requires bechamel sauce mix in the Alfredo sauce. That's part of the mix. So I thought, you know what? I'm running low on it anyway. I'll go ahead and make some and I'll video that. So that recipe will come after this recipe. And if you're not interested in it, then you can just skip it and fast forward. Here's what that page looks like in my 2nd cookbook. All right, the first thing I did was I took some freeze-dried Parmesan cheese, that's Thrivalist brand, and I put it in the blender and I blended it up to make it a little bit more of a powder. Now you can order powdered Parmesan cheese that is shelf stable, like from Amazon, but I didn't have that, so I just blended the stuff that I did have. If you use something that's not shelf stable, then if you make this mix, you'll have to keep it in the fridge. All right, that right there is heavy cream powder. I'm putting all these ingredients in a big bowl because I like to whisk it first and mix it up really good before I put it in the jar. The heavy cream powder brand does matter. I don't think all heavy cream powder is good quality. I don't think it all tastes good. I use the Anthony's brand from Amazon. I'll link to it below. And then after the cream powder, I put in the bechamel sauce, and you can use the stuff from Thrivalist if you have it. And if not, like I said, I'm going to do a recipe for that in just a minute. Okay, in goes the Parmesan, in goes some butter powder, and then we just have seasonings. I've got some salt, some kosher salt, and this is garlic powder here. And then we're gonna put some black pepper in there, as well as a couple of maybe unexpected ingredients, like a little bit of nutmeg and a little bit of cayenne. Now the nutmeg, it pairs beautifully with cream. Fresh grated nutmeg is great in a cream sauce, so of course it's going to be great in this. And just a little bit of cayenne pepper. Mine was kind of stuck. I really didn't put that much in there. Just maybe like 1/8 of a teaspoon, okay? Does it make your Alfredo sauce spicy? No, it doesn't. Not that amount. But does it give you like a depth of flavor? Yes. I don't know how to describe it because I'm not that articulate, y'all, but it gives like a bottom to the flavor profile. So it's really, really good. You can store this in a quart-sized jar, and it should be good for as long as your ingredients that you put in there are good. So take a look at the expiration date on the back of your heavy cream powder bag and that kind of thing, and just make sure you use it up by then. Now, this is the part where I'm going to show you my bechamel sauce recipe. I will put the exact measurements to both of these recipes in the description box below. It's not a difficult recipe. This has been up on my channel for years. I mean, at least a couple of years. And it's really popular. People love it that have tried it because a lot of my recipes use bechamel sauce mix in there. It always seemed like Thrive Life was out of bechamel sauce. It was really helpful to have a copycat mix on my channel. So anyway, here's a list of the ingredients you'll need. That is cookbook number 1 that has the bechamel sauce mix recipe in it. Okay, so this is the same recipe that's already up on my channel, but I just thought I'm gonna show you how I make it. I have a lot of new subscribers and you might not know about it. So that's the same bowl. I've got that same bowl. I just wiped it out. I'm gonna make this bechamel sauce mix in it. The first thing that goes in is a couple of cups of instant milk powder. And then I'm gonna add some heavy cream powder to it. So bechamel sauce is basically a cream sauce. It goes in a lot of different things as just an ingredient, like any cream soups or whatever I use it. And then also you can just make the sauce by itself and put it on like in a lasagna. Lots of different things called for bechamel sauce. Okay, I've got cornstarch in there. I've got butter powder in there, a good amount of chicken bouillon, and then a good amount of onion powder. And then just some more seasonings go in here. So some garlic powder, some celery seed, some ground thyme, or if you have regular thyme, that's fine. In fact, I should have put that celery seed in my spice grinder. I just forgot to do it. It's probably better if you put it in there. A little bit of poultry seasoning, and then some black pepper, some kosher salt, and then just like a dash of nutmeg again, because nutmeg pairs really beautifully with cream. You can just give that a whisk, a really good stir, and then this also will fit into a quart-sized jar. With both of these mixes that I've just showed you here, you can double these recipes. You could cut them in half. Like you can scale them up or down depending on how much sauce mix you need. And so just feel free to do that. I typically make at least a quart-sized jar of each of these anytime I have to get out all these ingredients. Whenever you're ready to make the Alfredo sauce, you'll need to get out a pot, and what I like to do is go ahead and start the pasta or whatever I'm going to put it on, like get that going in the background. And then this is optional, y'all, okay? Optional as in you don't have to do it, but I like to do it this way. I get a blender cup. See that plastic cup there? That's a blender cup, and I've got a cup of water in it. And then I'm going to put about a cup of the sauce mix. So that's, 2 or 3 servings of sauce here that I'm going to make. Other than just the pasta I'm showing you, I'm also going to use it on an Alfredo pizza tonight. So anyway, I was making extra. So I like to blend it a couple of times in that blender cup. And all that does is it just makes sure that there's no lumps. That's all it's doing. You can skip that step, okay? The ratio here is about a 1-to-1 ratio of mix to water. And I say about a 1-to-1 because I do need to allow for a little bit of extra water to rinse out my blender cup. So if you're making like just one serving, then maybe an extra tablespoon or two is all you need of the water. I was making a double recipe, so I put like 1/4 of a cup of water in the bottom of that thing just to rinse out the blender cup. So anyway, you can get some heat going. And once it gets nice and hot, you're gonna have to stick around, if you know what I mean. Don't walk off here because that cheese is gonna be melting, that Parmesan cheese that's in there, and you just don't wanna walk away. It will tend to stick on you. So I would come pretty often, pretty regularly, and whisk that. I needed to pay a little bit of attention to the pasta in the background, so I needed to stir that a little bit. But yeah, at least every minute or so, come along and stir that. What you want to do, like once it reaches a bubble, you can turn down your temperature. I think I landed at like a 3 out of 10, and I let that cook for about 5 minutes on a medium low. And see, it's nice and thick. So if you stick a spoon in there, you can drag your finger through and you'll see how thick it is. And you can taste that, you can adjust, you can add more seasonings if that's what you need, or a splash of heavy cream, whatever you want on there. I didn't add anything, I thought it was fantastic. I went ahead and drained my pasta and I put about 1/3 of the Alfredo sauce that I had cooked onto that pasta. There was a little bit of water in the bottom there and it thinned out my sauce. But you'll see as it sits, it thickens up and it's just a really, really nice consistency. I went ahead and put some chicken on mine. Like you can make whatever you want. Once you have this Alfredo sauce, you can do literally whatever you want with it. I got some chicken on there and I cut up some parsley. And then I'm just grating on some fresh Parmesan cheese because I thought this will make beautiful pictures. And I think it does. I think it makes really, really pretty pictures. I love it that you can make the exact amount of Alfredo sauce that you want to make at that time. If you have this sauce mix on your shelf, then you can just make like one serving of it. Versus if you're buying a jarred Alfredo sauce from the grocery store, then you're gonna have to deal with the leftovers. Like you can only leave it in your fridge for a certain amount of time before it grows green stuff. Using my Alfredo sauce mix, it allows you to just, not deal with leftovers. You can literally make one serving at a time, or, you can make however much you need at the time. And I love having the mix on my shelf. I also love the fact that I know exactly what I put in it. It doesn't have any weird ingredients. It's literally Parmesan, heavy cream, butter, seasonings. Like it's good ingredients. I mean, at least it's much cleaner than anything you could buy at the store. And y'all, it tastes amazing. The sauce is not only super creamy, but that Parmesan has that really nice salty bite to it. It's just so perfect. I started to taste this and I was trying to show y'all the sauce and I realized I couldn't really show you very well because I had put so much chicken on the top. So I went back to the kitchen and I added some more Alfredo sauce on top of the chicken. And at this point it had been sitting there for probably 5 or 6 minutes, but can you see how much thicker it is now? It really thickens nicely as it sits. As it cools, it does thicken more. So I just took some more pictures with the extra sauce on it in an effort to just show you how fantastic and how beautiful and smooth and creamy this sauce mix ends up being. It is wonderful. Like I said, you can use it for whatever you want to use it for, but in this instance, I put it on pasta. Tonight, I'm going to put it on pizza as a garlic Alfredo pizza, and it's going to be so, so yummy. And finally, y'all, I've got my Velouté sauce mix. It's a rich chicken gravy. I use this in lots of different recipes. It's delish. So you're going to start with some chicken bouillon, and to that you're going to add some heavy cream powder and some cornstarch and some garlic, and then a mirepoix, which is onions, celery, and carrots. Now, This recipe, I'm kind of basing it on my Copycat recipe for Espagnole sauce. So it's a little bit different, but it's kind of based on that. I have that recipe on my channel already. It's been up for years. I will link to that just in case you need that one. But anyway, whereas the Espagnole sauce is a beef gravy, the velouté is the chicken gravy. So I'm swapping out the beef bouillon for chicken bouillon. I did not add tomato powder here because velouté sauce does not have tomato in it. But I am leaving in the onion, celery, carrots, garlic. So it's a pretty simple gravy. There's not a lot to it, but you do need to put all of these things in a blender and blend them really well. Blend it into a fine powder. And so I probably blended that for about 30 seconds or something like that. And then it's just a matter of combining this powder with water and simmering it on the stovetop for a few minutes. It's very simple. I don't think that most of you will actually use it like that. I think mostly what you'll do with this is sub in an actual recipe that calls for velouté sauce. You can sub this in its place. But I did want to show you, just so you know what it looks like in comparison to the Thrivalist velouté sauce. It is a little bit different in color, and that's because, I don't have their actual recipe. I'm guessing here. I'm reading the back of their can, and I'm trying to figure out what their proportions were and stuff like that. And this is what I have come up with. It's delicious on its own. It's a little bit different than theirs. Once you simmer it for just 3 or 4 minutes, something like that, it thickens up and it just turns into a beautiful chicken gravy. As far as taste goes, it's really similar. And so, that's what I was going for. So when you sub this for their velouté sauce in a recipe, it shouldn't change the flavor of the recipe very much at all. I do like it that I have developed a gluten-free version of this velouté sauce because Thrivalist was gluten-free. So I wanted to stay as close to their version of it as possible. Yeah, so this recipe does do a good job of imitating theirs. And what you're probably going to use this for more than anything else is for my meals in jars. Real quick, let me just show you a few of my recipes that call for that velouté sauce mix. I've got my smothered chicken. I also have a Hawaiian pineapple chicken and rice. And then any kind of a pot pie, like a chicken cobbler or a biscuit pot pie. And then if you want to combine the velouté sauce mix along with the bechamel sauce mix, you'll get like a chicken flavored white sauce. It's so good, and you can use it on something like my chicken and noodles. Well, that's it for today, guys. Thank y'all so much for spending part of your day with me. I really do appreciate you. I really do hope that these recipes are helpful to you. If you include these sauce mixes in your meals in jars, then it will definitely give them a flavor boost. If you don't mind, hit the like button and, leave me a comment, all that stuff. It really helps my channel. All right, I have got a verse for today. I like to do a scripture verse of the day. And today's verse is going to come from the book of Isaiah, chapter 46 and verse 4. And it says something just so great. Listen to this. It says, "Even to your old age, I am he, and to your gray hairs, I will carry you. I have made you, and I will bear you, and I will carry you, and I will save you." All right, guys. Well, I pray you have a blessed week, a wonderful day. And until next time, y'all, take care and keep thriving.